Tragedy in Calabar, Cross River State, where one person has died, 16 others are still being treated for severe burns. In the capital, the death and injuries occurred following an explosion linked to kerosene adulteration. The State's Commissioner for Health, Dr. Asibong Inyang, who visited the victims at the hospital, said the government is investigating the incident to find the root cause of the explosions. She said the Ministry of Health will also educate residents on the dangers of using adulterated products.
Started receiving these reports about 2 weeks ago, but we realized that it's getting more serious, so we decided to do something more drastic. And I came and found out that it's even worse than we thought. 17 people already that have come down with this in Calabar only. Like I told you yesterday, we had a call from Ugep with the same problem. And now we've lost somebody this morning, a mother of 2 children, to this same thing. So imagine the ripple effects this is causing.
So basically what we intend to do is to get to the root of it. We want to find out who are responsible, where this product are bought. And so I intend to involve the services of security agencies in this operation, because we intend to ensure that adequate punishment is meted, and this is, should never ever happen in this state.
Meanwhile, efforts by the health authorities in Sokoto State to combat the outbreak of type C meningitis are intensifying. 50 million naira is said to have been spent in the last 3 days to procure vaccines by the state government. Our correspondent reports that evacuation process has begun in affected towns and villages, while enlightenment on preventive measures are ongoing.
We have recorded 14 deaths that are confirmed from cerebrospinal meningitis as of yesterday. As I've told you, we're going to have evening review meeting today with all the teams, back at the Ministry of Health to strategize and see how we can move forward in 5 local governments as hotspots, including Tureta, Bodenga, Wamaku, Gada, as well as Dengeshuni. An emergency response and Kebi. Emergency response teams have been discharged since 2 days ago, 15 in numbers, comprising of doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and laboratory and scientists, with enough medicaments, commodities, as well as other, logistics to contain, the scourge. The reports I've been having is that we are having reduction in the number of cases in some local governments, while in other local governments where we have done community mobilization, we're having more cases being brought in, which is good, so that people don't keep them at home and they continue to transmit the disease and then have high mortality.
Joining us now to discuss the outbreak is the Director, Surveillance Epidemiology Department at the National Center for Disease Control, Mrs. Olubumi Ojo. She is in our studios in Abuja. Mrs. Ojo, thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you.
What are the latest figures that we have and which states are affected by this outbreak?
Yeah, presently we have 1,828 suspected cases, out of which 71 cases have been confirmed, and we have 169 deaths, 269 deaths in the about 15 states. That means at least the states must have reported at least a case.
Do we know the names of these states? So far we know of only Sokoto. Could you mention the other states that are also affected by meningitis?
Well, because we have epidemic threshold anyway, I will only mention the ones in the epidemics season right now. We have Sokoto, we have Zamfara, we have Kebbi, and Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, and Katsina presently are in the epidemics. They've crossed the epidemic threshold.
We know that meningitis is caused by viruses. Most times it's bacterial, but it could also be fungal. So which is more prevalent in our own environment? Which is more characteristic of this part of the world? What makes a person with the presence of these germs in the intestine, nose or throat come down with the disease, while another person exposed to the same germs is not able to contract meningitis?
Well, the one that is predominant in this part of the world is actually the bacterial meningitis. The one that is caused by Neisseria meningitidis, to be precise, is the most deadly. And that's the type we have. They have of different serotypes, but presently we're having serotype C.
And how is meningitis contracted, Mrs. Ojo? Because if it is a virus, it means that it has to have a carrier, right? It's either airborne or it is contracted by touch, by contact, and so on. Just educate the public a bit on how meningitis is contracted.
Well, it's actually airborne. And at the same time, when we say airborne, person to person, and at the same time through exchange of respiratory and throat secretions.
Mrs. Olubunmi Ojo, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10. Mrs. Olubunmi Ojo, the Director of Surveillance Epidemiology Department at the National Center for Disease Control. We're staying in Abuja. Ivy Clem joins us now with more on the News at 10. Hi, Ivy.
Hello, Amarachi. The need for Nigerians to look inwards and consume locally made products has come on the front burner again. Today in Lagos at the Tinubu Colloquium, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Ministers of Trade and Investment and his finance counterparts emphasized the need to grow local industries. The keynote speaker, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, speaks about how the troops have created locally fabricated warfare equipment for the Nigerian Air Force in combating insurgency in the northeast. Our correspondent Shehu Akimboloye reports.
You may pardon that Nigeria imports refined petroleum products, a consequence of the bad state of the nation's 4 refineries. But can you really pardon the importation of gari and, more embarrassing, toothpick? That unpleasant state of the Nigerian economy has necessitated the theme of this forum, a conversation on the need for Nigerians to begin to use what they make. And the keynote speaker, the Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, tells of the efforts by the military in looking inward in the locally fabrication of technology used in the insurgency war.
The Nigerian Air Force collaborated with some mechanical and robot technologies outfits in the country, resulting in the production of the first prototype. And I'm glad to announce that we have now produced a better version of the one from the original equipment manufacturer at a cost of about 25,000 naira.
One after the other, young Nigerian entrepreneurs take to the stage to share their stories of inventing and producing Nigerian-made products. As the younger one spoke, the older and more experienced one also took to the stage. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has appealed to the government for local productions to thrive.
We pray that there will not be inconsistency in terms of government policies going forward.
For the governor of Lagos State, the Lagos-Kebbi Rice Production Partnership is the beginning of the support for local initiatives.
We have demonstrated it. We have professed it through our Lagos Rice Partnership with Kebbi State. As a government, we will continue to improve on our indices of the ease of doing business.
It is an event to celebrate the former Lagos governor's 65th birthday. It is a rare assemblage of Nigeria's reigning political class. Even perceived political foes are present too. The working relationship between President Muhammadu Buhari and his vice, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for the celebrant, is a success of this political dispensation.
While our dear president had to be away, the VP performed excellently as his lawyer. The 2 excellent men exemplified teamwork and true meaning of unity of purpose.
Nation building and the role of the political class is brought to the fore here. Whether Nigeria likes it or not, it must begin to consume what it produces for it to survive. Shion Kimaloye reporting for Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, budding entrepreneurs have been asked to focus more on value creation in their businesses in order to realize their dreams. This message was given at the Conference for Emerging Entrepreneurs organized by the Field of Skills and Dreams in collaboration with the U.S. Mission in Nigeria and the Young African Leaders Initiative. Our correspondent Temple Asaju reports.
Drawn from across the Federation through a transparent selection process, these 102 budding entrepreneurs have converged on Lagos for a two-day networking forum with successful business icons. The conference, an initiative of the United States Mission in Nigeria, is in collaboration with Field of Skills and Dreams, a vocational and technical training institute. According to the U.S. Consul General, Mr. John Bray, the plan is to create wealth for the Nigerian economy.
Our goal is simple. We want to identify, train, mentor, incubate, provide access to marketing and funding, and create enabling environments and entrepreneurial cultures.
Drawing from their business experiences of over 4 decades, the successful business leaders and members of the Young African Leaders Initiative share their business sustainability instincts with the mentees. The chairman of Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, a member of the initiative, asks youth to pursue value addition at their startup stage.
The only thing that is constant is change. So if you resist change, you'll be left behind. And money or profit, do not focus your mind on making money. Business is about satisfying your customers, creating value. Once you achieve that, money will come. Trust me. Profit is a byproduct of a good business.
For the chief executive of Main One Cable, Ms. Funke Opeke, and the managing director of Sahara Group, Mr. Tony Ekol, capacity development and integrity remain key for entrepreneurship.
It's been a journey. I always said, once we put the cable into service, I'm just going to sleep and retire and not have to show up in the office every day. I worked harder this 6.5 years. I have to tell you, they're all the high moments, because when I look around Lagos, I look at Yaba where we've worked, I look at startups like Konga and Della, so many of these companies, and they say, we couldn't have done it without you.
You are the second generation of entrepreneurs that we are seeing. The second generation that have the opportunity to hear and see and know that it is possible and come to seminars like this. And so for you, you have a different set of platform, but you have the same challenges.
The business leaders also agree to find time for mentoring the emerging entrepreneurs.
We have a foundation right now that is working on something called extrapreneurship. We're out there to impact directly 12 million young Nigerians over the next 4 years. So it's already something that we do because we believe in it.
Hatching a business idea into reality often comes with a lot of challenges. With a meeting like this on the first day of the conference, these young entrepreneurs must have been encouraged to launch deeper into their dreams. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority offers assurances of its commitment to the development of the Lekki Deep Sea Port. That's on Business News. Join us again.